Watch part 1 of this video to better understand the context of what I'm talking about. But we are like babies in the eyes of God. We are like babies in the eyes of the universe, in the eyes of infinity, in the eyes of whatever woke ass terminology that you want to use for that, right? And Ketu is like the burning stove that the baby gets attracted to and burned by, right? Now, does it mean the stove is bad or the stove is evil or does it mean the stove is bad karma just because it burned you a couple times? Does it mean that you have to leave the stove alone forever? Does it mean the stove is no longer essential and you should just run away from it and do something else, right? Doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all, and that's one of the misconceptions of Ketu. People be saying like, Ketu represents past life. You've done that. You already did that. It's too stagnant. You need to leave that area of life alone. You need to completely dive into the Rahu, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. That's not true. You don't just leave Ketu alone because some afflictions or what feel like bad experiences come with it. You know what I'm saying? Ketu is one of the karmas. It's not necessarily a karma of, how do you describe it? It's not a karma of good and evil. It's just a karma of the person is in ignorance in some way. You feel me? And it's bringing you to reality. It's just a harsh but truthful lesson. Just like a baby touching the stove and getting burnt by it. You know what I'm saying? The baby has to learn, this causes pain when I do this. Doesn't mean the baby is going to live the rest of his life traumatized by stoves and never fucking with stoves. No. You feel me? He's going to grow. He's going to gain the awareness of the uses of the stove, when to use it, you know what I'm saying, how to use it, how to turn it on, how to turn it off and whatnot. And at the same time, he's not going to build his life around this stove. That's one of the traps of Ketu. If Ketu is situated in a certain way, the person can become too trapped within their own comfort zone or can become too trapped within this area of life surrounding Ketu. They can be fearful of exploring the Rahu, or they can be fearful of going outside of that particular box. Like, a master for Ketu is really like a burning stove. You feel me? It's a stove. It's something that you use, and you know how to use it. You understand what can burn you. You know how to be, cautious and conscientious in relation to the uses of this particular stove, and you know how to detach at the same time. When it's time to leave and go to work, when it's time to, fuck your bitch, or when it's time to do whatever other activity, you know how to disconnect and leave the stove where the stove is. That's Ketu. You know what I'm saying? It's wherever your Ketu sits, it shows real masterful skills and abilities about a particular area of life that you have, but it's not going to allow you to build an ego around these things. It's not going to too much let you build an ego or an identity or a sense of clinging around these particular things. As soon as you start to cling, try to build ego, yada, 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 et cetera, it's going to lead to the burns. You feel me? Soon as you get enamored by that light or that heat source and try to seek it out in an ignorant manner, you're going to get burned. And it's going to keep burning you until you basically, just give up and release your attachment. Does that mean, again, that you can't fuck with the stove just because you got burned? No. You just have to know how to use it.